I just got promoted to audit manager at Price Waterhouse, and I decided to resign because I felt I wasn't going to have enough control over my life. 3 guys that just got promoted, they got told they had to move to other states, uproot their families and kids. I didn't know what kind of business I wanted to go in, but I wanted to be in business for myself. So I decided to look around for different businesses, and I found one in my hometown, a large toy store that was for sale. I buy the store, I fix it up, I use my business skills to finance it, get a lot more inventory, and the store is basically a success, or at least for a few years. During that time, my hair is somewhat longer. I had been cross-dressing since I was 9 years old, but I'm married. My daughter isn't born yet, and I feel that also being in my own business, there may be a little more opportunity to be more myself and not in the Ivy League style of a Big 8 accounting firm. So there I am, here I am. I'm in my store, 4,500 square foot store. Instead of just selling toys, I added cribs and furniture, carriages. It was a very beautiful store. And usually there were 3 or 4 employees. I had asked my father, in fact, to leave what he was doing as the auto parts manager of an auto store in the Bronx and come join me after about the first year. I figured he would be the perfect one, someone I could really trust. I also had a woman as a sales manager, Marie, who I knew for quite a while, and Gary was my guy that schlepped stuff around, a delivery guy. They all were not there this one day. I'm standing in the store alone. And during that time, I was very thin. My hair was somewhat long. People sometimes when they came in the store, at least from a distance, they would say, "Oh, miss." And then I would say, and talk, and then they would say, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir." But I liked that. I liked being androgynous. I liked being mistaken for a woman. I wasn't overly feminine, but I guess I had a feminine look. So here I am standing in my store. It was a quiet day. My father was out sick. Gary was on a long delivery. Marie had something to do with her kids, so she wasn't there. And I'm alone. That's okay. In walks a guy. I felt something wasn't right. As soon as he came in, I just had that vibe about him. Maybe it was the way in which he looked at me. Hi, need some help?
Yeah, I want to get something from my nephew.
How old's your nephew?
12, 13-ish.
12, 13-ish. Well, what are you looking for? You see anything you like? Did you look around?
How about that?
Those? You want to look at these electronic baseball games and electronic basketball? These are like $29.99. You want me to take one down? I can show it to you. You know what? Instead, is he athletic, your nephew? Instead, let me show you another idea. All right? I carry sporting goods too. So I have these baseball bats over here. Let me show you. I got all different kinds. I have wood bats. and I have aluminum bats, and here I have long bat. How tall is he? Is he very tall? You know, because what you may want to do is you can get him. Does he have other equipment and stuff? So. Hello? 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 Joe? Frank, is that you? Yeah, I think something. I think I've been hit. It's all blood here, and all this blood. Oh my God. Joe, I'm not placing an order today. I know I'm not making sense. Go next door. Go to Jenny next door and call the ambulance. Okay. Okay. So I stumble next door. I call the ambulance, and Jim, the pharmacist, told me I should sit down. And how can I sit down? I gotta close up my shop. The ambulance is gonna be here. So I need to go up the 10 stairs to the platform office that I had built to look out over my world, my store. And going up there, I saw there was $700 that I had left up on the desk. It was still there. I checked in my pockets, and it's the $900. He didn't steal it from my jeans. Let me check in the cash register. The money's still there. Why did this guy do it? What happened? It was the guy. It was the guy that had the nephew. It was him. So I go down to my basement to shut the door, and in that whole process, as I'm going around, I'm hemorrhaging more and more. The people told me at the hospital that my skull was fractured in 14 places. They had told my wife and my daughter that I only had a 50-50 chance to live, and you know, they're very positive usually, so it was even less of a chance than that. So what happens is that they put me on heavy morphine. They told me I had to spend 2 or 3 months at home convalescing. I can't even spend 2 or 3 hours at home. We get 2 or 3 months. So I go back to work. The doctor says to me, "You have some serious problems," which I noticed. I didn't have the photographic memory that I once had that made me do very well in college, because I could bring up tracks of Chaucer or Wordsworth for my English lit classes. And instead, now I didn't have those skills. I try to offset that. The doctor says, "You got to go to a specialist." There's a head injury specialist out in Hop Hog, Long Island. So I get in my car one morning. He makes an appointment for me. I get in my car. It's a 1-hour drive from New Rochelle, Westchester. So as I'm driving, I'm thinking of all the things that could start going wrong in my life as my brain continues not to function properly. So when I get there, I was very, very upset. So I go in, he greets me, and he says, "Frank, you seem very upset. You look like you're a nervous wreck." I said, "Well, what do you expect? You have the report. You see what's wrong with my brain." He says, "Calm down, calm down. I've done thousands of these EEGs where we test the brain. And I could tell you that in many cases, the brain recovers, rebuilds itself. I don't think you have much to worry about. I did see your initial reports. But what we're going to do is, you're going to sit here, and you're going to look at this big screen, and I'm going to sit behind you and look at my smaller screen. And as you look at the screen, just relax and look at the visual stimuli on the screen. And I, behind you, will be seeing how your brain reacts to that stimuli. Got that? We all on track with that? So I said, well, how long do I need to look at the screen? And he says, well, about 30 seconds, 25 seconds. I'm looking at the screen. 8 seconds in, he yells out, holy shit! He says it again, holy shit! He walks around to the front of me and he looks right at me, white face, and he says, I said, what's the matter? What's the matter? He says, I've never seen in the thousands of cases a brain like yours. You have so much transference between the left and right brains. Women have that, but you have even more than that. More than that. And I don't even know how you're actually breathing and alive right now. I said, well, what do I do? What do I do? He says, you got to come here every week for the next 2 or 3 months and we're going to monitor it. There was some improvement that was happening. And as time went on, there was some more improvement. But I was getting kind of pissed. I was a very passive, thought-loving, trusting person. And my wife and other people in my life were saying, see what happened to you? We told you. You can't be trusting like that. You turned your back on somebody and they hit you over the head with a bat. And that started grating on me. That plus a combination maybe of the effects of the morphine and just worsening situation in my brain. So what I did, eventually, the revenge started building up. Something was new to me. I never had a vengeful spirit. It built up inside of me, so much so that I planned to kill him. So I took a kitchen knife and I put it underneath the seat of my car. And every night for 6 nights, I went out in my car looking for drug rehab centers to try to track this guy down. And what I had planned to do is I planned to spot him, park my car, and follow him down an alley, if I was lucky enough to find an alley, and and I practiced this with the knife and come right up under him and into throat. I couldn't even believe I was thinking this. I felt like the devil had entered my heart. And during the day, I lived my life. During the day, I lived my regular life, but knowing that nighttime would come and I would change into this vengeful killer. I prayed each night when I was out, until one night, on the 7th night, I'm in the car. I'm in New Rochelle. There was a drug rehab place not far from my home. I'm on North Avenue. And I feel like I'm going to find this guy tonight. And I started praying. I pray a lot to Jesus Christ in my life since I was a kid. I always found that my prayers were answered. So I prayed, I put my hands on the steering wheel, and I prayed and prayed deeply, and I was crying. I was very, very upset because this was not like me to be like this. And then all of a sudden, it was like at Jones Beach, like if you ever rode the waves at Jones Beach, and that feeling of pressure of a wave for about 9 seconds, 10 seconds. That wave came and it washed me of that vengeful spirit. And I was washed with forgiveness that I've had until this day. And the silver lining of it all is that I think it made me more of a female, because females have left brain, right brain transference. And it also gave me and showed me the power of prayer.
Yeah.
And forgiveness.
Thank you, Jesus.